please. I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at it.
Now, this is one of the stories that has stayed with so many of us. A young woman full of life on vacation with people she thought were her friends or at least associates, only to never return home. Today, we're diving into what really happened to Shanquella Robinson, why the case made headlines around the world, and the major update that just dropped by the courts, where a judge has dismissed part of her family's lawsuit. But before we get into all of that, please be sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Now, Shanquella Robinson was a 25-year-old entrepreneur from Charlotte, North Carolina, bright, driven, and deeply loved by her family. In October 2022, she flew to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico for what she thought was going to be a relaxing vacation with 6 other so-called friends. But just 24 hours after arriving, Shanquella was unalive. Her travel companions claimed she died of alcohol poisoning, but things took a dark turn when a shocking video surfaced online showing Shanquella being violently attacked in a hotel room by one of the other women on the trip, while the others stood by and watched. So the footage, the lies, and the lack of accountability sparked national outrage. Even celebrities and activists began demanding justice for Shanquella. Meanwhile, Mexican authorities launched a femicide investigation, and an autopsy revealed Shanquella died from a broken neck and a spinal cord injury, not alcohol poisoning. The 6 individuals that traveled with Shanquella, now infamously called the Cabo Six, returned to the United States and have not faced any charges to this day. Now, Mexico issued an arrest warrant for one of the women, but the U.S. government has so far refused to extradite or prosecute. And I want to touch on this really quick because many people have been sending me updated videos stating that Daejhanae Jackson has this warrant out for her arrest from Mexico. This is nothing new. Daejhanae has had a warrant out for her arrest from Mexico since November 23, 2022. On that date, they stated that they were seeking to extradite a female, a U.S. citizen, for the crime of femicide, which is a gender-based unaliving recognized under Mexican law. So why has Daejhanae Jackson, who has now changed her name to Amani Green, never been extradited back to Mexico? The answer is complicated and frustrating, but the U.S. and Mexico do have an extradition treaty. That means, in theory, one country can request the other to hand over a suspect, but here's the catch. The U.S. just doesn't automatically honor those requests. They have to be reviewed, approved, and then go through the U.S. courts. And in this case, the Department of Justice quietly decided not to move forward. The FBI says they didn't find enough evidence under the U.S. law to charge anyone federally. So with no U.S. charges and no legal action here, there's nothing pushing the extradition forward. And according to the lawsuit filed by Shanquella's mother, Salamandra Robinson, the State Department didn't even properly forward Mexico's extradition request to the right office. That move alone could have delayed or even blocked the process entirely. Bottom line, the U.S. has full control over whether or not it extradites anyone, and right now they've chosen not to. That's why Shanquella's family is suing. That's why people are demanding answers, because the woman accused of being responsible for Shanquella's unaliving is still walking free on U.S. soil. So what exactly is Shanquella's mother suing for? Let's break it down real quick. Negligence by the FBI. Salamandra Robinson says the FBI failed to properly investigate her daughter's death. She claims they moved too slowly, which caused evidence to be lost or destroyed, especially during the second U.S. autopsy. She believes this delay damaged the case and blocked any chance of criminal justice. She's also speaking about mishandling of FOIA requests. She sued the FBI under the Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA, after they refused to release case records. The FBI responded saying the records couldn't be released because it could interfere with enforcement, but she argues that's just stonewalling. Salamandra claims the State Department received an extradition request from Mexican authorities, but failed to forward it to the right office. She says this failure helped the suspect stay free in the U.S. Bottom line, she believes both agencies dropped the ball, and because of that, the person who unalived her daughter is still free and her family has no justice. But now, in a big legal blow, a judge has officially dismissed all claims against the FBI and the U.S. State Department. Now, let me break this down for you. The court says you can't sue the government just because you don't like how they ran the investigation. Federal agencies like the FBI have discretion, meaning it's up to them how they handle things, and that's protected by law. Also, the judge ruled that there's no private company or person who does what the FBI or the State Department does, so you can't compare them, which you need to do in order to sue under the Federal Tort Claims Act. So that confuses a lot of us, but here's what it means under the law. When you sue the U.S. government under something called the Federal Tort Claims Act, you have to show that if a regular person or private company did the same thing, they could be sued too. For example, if a mail truck hits your car, that's easy. A private delivery company could be held responsible, so you can sue the government too. But in Shanquella's case, the lawsuit is about federal investigations and international extradition, things only the government does. There's no private business that investigates overseas unalivings or handles internal assets. So the judge says there's no fair comparison, case dismissed. They're pretty much saying it's one of those legal loopholes that feels unfair, but that's how the law is written. Now, the next thing they went over was the foreign country rule. The judge is saying that because the tragedy happened in Mexico, the court said it does not have jurisdiction to handle claims tied to what happened there, even if it involved U.S. citizens. So the next thing the judge spoke on was administrative rules, and he's saying that they were skipped. He says before suing, you're supposed to file a claim with the agency and wait for them to respond. Shanquella's mother didn't go through the full process, so the judge said the lawsuit was premature. Next, they talk about the FOIA rejection. He says they also tried to force the FBI to release documents under the Freedom of Information Act, but that type of case can't start in a state court, and that's where this case began. So even that part was tossed out. Now, this case is just partially dismissed. The judge did allow part of the case to continue, specifically claims related to how the agencies may have handled requests or communications with Shanquella's family could possibly move forward. This means the court is still open to examining whether the agencies violated any procedures in their communication or lack of transparency. So while most of the case is thrown out, it's not completely over. The judge is leaving the door open for further examination on how the agencies treated the family. So what do we do now? Does that mean the case is dead? Not exactly. The lawsuit against the Cabo Six, those 6 individuals on the trip, is still active and ongoing. But let's be clear, this ruling is a huge blow. It means the U.S. government won't be held accountable in the civil court, at least not in this case. And for a grieving mother who's been demanding answers since 2022, this is very heartbreaking. As a Charlotte native, this case has been very near and dear to my heart. I've been following it since the beginning, and I won't stop until we get justice for Shanquella. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything currently going on in this Shanquella Robinson case? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys.
And that is so sad and terrifying to hear because it's just uncalled for to have to go on a trip and never come back to your family. That is so sad, terribly sad. And I felt so bad for that. And I hope they get it together because somebody needs to be held accountable for her deceased. Somebody needs to be held accountable. I don't care if it's for 1 hour. You need to be held accountable. So that's it about her case. And I just wanted to see what she was saying about that because I didn't hear the update. It was 18 hours ago. So I knew it was recent. So that's it, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Love you guys.